Phillip Schofield has certainly been having a week of it, as his much-anticipated comeback on Castaway hasn't had the response the former This Morning presenter was hoping for. The ratings were lower than expected, and the show has been brutally blasted by viewers who have dubbed it boring and insanely cringe. Now even the stars of Gogglebox have taken aim at Phillip Schofield's Castaway. Meanwhile, Phil's ex-bestie Holly Willoughby is moving on. More on that later. Gogglebox stars Pete and Sophie Sandiford were not afraid to share their opinions on the former presenter's comeback, as they filmed a recent episode of the Channel 4 show. They were shown the first episode, in which Phillip says, "When you throw someone under the bus, you gotta have a really bloody good reason to do it." Sophie was quick to fume. "You created the bus and then put your foot down on it," with Pete agreeing, "You created, drove and threw yourself under the bus." "So," added Sophie, before Pete sarcastically questioned, "Who's to blame?" Fans rushed to X to agree with the brother-sister duo, with one fan writing, "You get cancelled because you do stuff that isn't right. It may not be illegal, but it's wrong." No one else did it other than Phillip himself. No one did it for him. He wasn't thrown under a bus. He put himself in front of a bus, if anything. And another Gogglebox viewer penned, "Oh, hell no. I avoided that chuffing Phillip Schofield self-indulgent show, and I should have realized that it'd be on here." A third fan wrote, "Did not expect to see the bare naked A of Phillip Schofield on TV tonight. Thank you Gogglebox. Can't unsee that now. I just hope I sleep okay tonight. If not, Channel 4, I'm coming for you." A fourth pointed out, "My God, how tragic is Phillip Schofield. He brought everything that's happened all on himself." And another fan wrote, "Gogglebox showing Phillip Schofield's Castaway is brutal. Real people having an opinion will be interesting." Meanwhile, Phil's former This Morning co-host, Holly Willoughby, has opted to take the high road, following the airing of his show Castaway, and has kept a dignified silence regarding his implied accusations. Holly has an extremely busy schedule at the moment, with her upcoming work commitments, game show You Bet, and Dancing on Ice with Stephen Mulhern, and she also has Netflix show Bear Hunt to promote, which saw her bagging a deal worth close to 7 figures, earning more in just a few weeks from that than she made in a year at ITV. No wonder she's chosen to ignore Phil's comments on Castaway. She probably wants to be careful what she says. Holly certainly wouldn't want to jeopardize the brand deals she'll acquire from big gigs like that. Perhaps Phillip Schofield was right when he implied Holly Willoughby is brand-orientated, if indeed he was speaking about his former pal. With Holly, it seems everything is about the dollar, just in our own opinion of course. A source said, "Leaving This Morning has opened up new opportunities for Holly. Being free from being a double act with Phil has been good for her as well." There's also whispers that Holly Willoughby has been keeping herself firmly in the This Morning fold, perhaps keeping her foot in the door on the show in case she ever wants to go back. Recently, she attended the National Television Awards for the first time since leaving This Morning, with people apparently screaming that they love her as she walked the red carpet. Holly has also been carefully considering who she trusts in her inner circle, and has rekindled former friendships. Having always relied heavily on her sister Kelly for support, she is now turning to her old friends for strength amid Phillip's return to our screens, namely Fern Cotton, whom she is said to have rekindled her friendship with. Holly is said to be smiling again after reconnecting with Fern, after the pair drifted apart when they stopped filming Celebrity Juice together in 2018. Holly and Fern, who met when they were teens and appeared as team captains on the show, are thought to have become less close a couple of years ago after taking different paths and failed to check in on each other. Perhaps the real reason for the break was that Fern wanted to give the Schofield scandal a wide berth. We digress. The news of Holly and Fern's reconnection comes after a hellish year that saw Holly quit This Morning and reportedly was living in fear after discovering security guard Gavin Plum plotted to kidnap her. A source said, Plum was behind bars, but she thought if it had happened once, it could happen again. She was scared. Not many people actually go through something that horrific and life-changing, but Holly has. At the time, Holly paused her lucrative sidelines, including a £1 million deal with Marks & Spencer, and another 7-figure partnership with L'Oreal to promote hair dye. We bet that hurt. And when she finally returned to TV, Holly needed body doubles to protect her. Then she moved out of her £3 million mansion and left London with her husband Dan Baldwin, and their 3 children. TV producer Dan also increased security measures at their house in a bid to help the family feel safer. A source said, "For months Holly lived in absolute fear. She put the shutters down and concentrated on her family's safety. She didn't take any risks, and ITV even hired a body double for the dancing on ice run-throughs to help her deal with her fears. It was still tough and horrible, but she needed some normality." She continued with some of her charity work too, and in February she and Dan went away for the night for her 43rd birthday. Mainly though, Holly just kind of nested in the safety of their home with her husband and the kids. She focused on herself and made sure that what had happened to her wouldn't destroy her. The source continued, "Holly and Dan have always had a happy marriage and a wonderful family life, but after nearly losing it all, she needed their security more than ever. She spent more time behind closed doors with friends and family, going to the theater discreetly and doing fewer public events." Last year, Holly ended her friendship with This Morning co-star Phillip Schofield after his brother was sent to prison, and Phil's affair with a much younger colleague on the show was revealed. But today, amid her tough challenges, she's been putting the past behind her and spending time with Fern Cotton. A source said, "Fern started living holistically, concentrating on self-care while Holly was still on TV. But then Holly went down the same path and started meditating and appreciating and researching holistic therapies. When she set up her wellness brand, Wild Moon, she and Fern were back on the same page again." The pair last reunited in 2022 to film the last ever episode of Celebrity Juice with host Keith Lemon. But since then the pair's friendship took a back seat amid Holly's tumultuous couple of years. Holly Willoughby has previously said, "Fern and I have that sort of friendship where we're always so busy that when we see each other, it's great and we can pick up where we left off. There is no guilt, no resentment." Fern added, "Because we do the same sort of job, we understand if the other one doesn't phone back for a week." But the same can't be said for her friendship with Phillip Schofield, which is currently non-existent, according to reports, especially since the Castaway star and his family appeared to mock Holly's famous "Are You OK" clip as he made his big return to TV. During the program, Phillip chose to mention I'm a Celeb stars, Ant McPartlin and Declan Donnelly, as well as Joanna Lumley, but fails to mention Holly by name. With Phillip and Holly no longer on speaking terms, his appearance on Castaway has caused quite the stir. Following Schofield's alleged digs at 3S's of showbiz on the program, "The rest is entertainment" host Marina Hyde said on her podcast, "I suspect that one is Holly, who, by the way, has gone through some horrific stuff in the last year." As we know, Phillip Schofield was let go, fired, resigned from. There seemed to be a number of conflicting narratives from This Morning because he had a relationship with a much younger member of very junior staff, which he consistently lied about. And the relationship with his co-host Holly had broken down partly for that reason, but for other reasons as well, some of which can't be discussed. But those close to the star say Holly doesn't care about the sniping from her former friend. And the source said of Schofield's comments on Castaway, "After what she has been through, remarks like that are just nonsense." On Thursday, the anniversary of her leaving This Morning, she will undoubtedly reflect on the past year. Although it has been hellish for her, the future looks brighter now. Like and subscribe for more journeys through the blinker hole. For entertainment purposes only.